Welcome to another episode of Pistons of Fury. In this episode, I finish up the gauge pod install on my 1966 Mustang. Alright, new tach just arrived this morning, faster than I thought. That's good news. Excuse the background noise, I got the washing machine going, so there's just gonna be some of that. This should be a good condition tach. It should be the exact same one that I used in the previous video. Alright, here we go. Decently packed, for eBay anyway. And there we go. Even came with these cool little brackets on the side, which the first one was missing, so I don't know, I might actually use those. That's good. Everything looks pretty good. Yep. Same make and model. Chrome is decent. Glass is good. The needle's a little scuffed up, so we'll crack this open, see what's inside. But yeah, looks good. Alright, so here we are, getting some stuff done. I'm actually just straightening up in the garage. My workbench, so you can see behind me, has just gotten messy again. So I'm sure this happens to you guys. It happens like every damn week I clean this thing off, and then next thing I know, it's like full of junk again. But anyway, so actually I unearthed my my to-do list here, so I thought it would be a good time to take a look at that. Because I realized that I have not crossed some things off that I've done. Let's see, I need a Sharpie. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. We're gonna check some things off the list. That always feels good. So let's see, just the shifter. I have done that. I made a gauge pod, that's what we're doing right now. Finish dash assembly, that's not quite done. Haven't made the package tray yet. I have aligned it. I have done my hoses and belts. Don't have a dash pad yet, don't have a headliner. Carpet door area. I don't know what that means. Well, carpet's all done. I just have to install the kick panels, which I'm going to take a look at right now. I don't know if I'm going to actually start or finish that because they look like a real pain. There's going to be some trimming and stuff, and I don't know if I want to do that right now. Install shift boots. I don't have those yet. Ashtray. I need to finish that. Might do that this episode. And then remove stock parking brake. That's going to involve climbing into the car, so that's out. So we're not doing that. Let's see, things I've purchased. Lowering blocks. Yep, check. Those are installed. Dash pad, no. Shifter bushings, yes. Rear seat belts, yep, got those. Just have to install them. Headliner and material, no, I have not done that. Pedal covers, yep. brake cables. Oh, for the parking brake. Nope, still gotta buy those. Window crank and spring, yep. Door clips, yep. Armrest bolts, shift boot, no. Rear window crank disc, yeah, alright. Well, clearly gotta add some stuff to this, but that is done for now. So I think what I'm actually gonna do is I need to clean up my desk area a little bit, and then I think what I'm gonna do is I need to take the dash, glove box door off, all the way in there, and paint part of that, and then I'm going to install my glove box because it's just sitting over here behind my license plates holding a bunch of Mustang related junk, and looks like it's getting deformed, so need to stop that. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that, throw you guys in time lapse while I clean up and then get to the glove box install. Alright, so a little recap on where I'm at. Got the glove box in, kind of put in place. I've got a few of the screws in. A few points. This has to come in through the bottom and up and in. You can't go in through the front. It's just too big. You know, in my case, the glove box that I had in here originally was deteriorating. It came out in pieces, so I had never really installed one of these before. It is cardboard, so you do have to be a little bit careful with it. I didn't want to destroy it, so a few other things to note. I don't have my ashtray installed or the bracket that goes behind it, which made this a little bit easier. So there's a little bit of a tight squeeze getting it in here. And this little guy, the hook for the glove box door, has to go in and get at least hand tight before you put the glove box in, because basically there's a little bracket that sits on top. It's a little plate with some screws punched or holes punched in it, and you got to go up through that, and you just have to hold it in place, so you can't have the glove box in the way. So you probably saw me redo that. My camera cut out at some point because the battery died, and it gives me no warning when it does that, which is great. Yeah, so here I'm just kind of waiting. I've got to wait until that hinge dries, so as soon as that happens, I am going to finish the install. I think in the meantime I'm going to clean up the inside of my glove box door because it's pretty nasty. the finished glove box. I've got the cardboard insert all set in here. Glove box door is still looking a little gross. I'm going to take another stab at that. I might have to repaint it. Speaking of repainting, I scratched my nice new paint when I was installing the glove box door. This little box door catch basically shifted how this mounts, how these 3 bolts align, mounted it too low, and I gouged my new paint, which is really, really frustrating. And I've actually done that a few other times. I'm sure you guys can relate. Like any car guy who puts a lot of time into a car, you always spot the defects, right? You always know where you mess it up. So right here I have one, and now I've got a nice one right here too. So this kind of begs the question, why did I go through the hassle of using a real paint gun, really expensive paint, and going through all that mess of gutting and masking the interior when I could have just rattle canned it and gotten the same effect. Color may not look as good if you rattle can it, but I mean, look. So I rattle can this. That looks pretty good. And you know what? If that gets messed up, I can just rattle can it again. It's no big deal. This right here and right there, there's nothing I can do. I can maybe do a little bit of get some on a brush and try to touch it up, but it'll always be there. I can't just sand it and rattle can over it again like I could if I rattle canned it in the first place. So I think, you know, here's the thing. My thought was that if I did it the right way and used high quality paint, that I would be able to, it would be more durable, right? It's supposed to cure, it's supposed to have hardeners that the rattle can stuff doesn't have. I'm not seeing that that's the case. Maybe it's different on, you know, an external paint job where you're painting the outside of a car and you have multiple coats and lots of clear coat. Maybe that dries harder, and I'm just missing something with this interior job. But if I do the interior again, rattle can all the way. Forget it. It's too much time, too much effort for it just to scratch like this. So yeah, that's my 2 cents for this episode. But yeah, let's close this thing out. It's been enough work for this week. All right, so that sums it up for this episode. Continue to make progress. That's good. That's the key with these kind of projects, especially, you know, we've had everything apart and now things are going back together. This is supposed to be the fun part. It's still challenging. I mean, you know, this is, you know, the gauge panel. That was all new. It really hasn't been done. I mean, it kind of has been done before, right? People put aftermarket gauges in Mustangs all the time. They don't necessarily retrofit 1970s gauges into Mustangs all the time, so that's novel. That took a big chunk of the last week or two for me, so I'm glad to finally have that done. So it's cool. I can't tell you the last time this car had all working gauges and they were accurate, so that's pretty awesome. You know, to have everything in here and working and to have the car drivable. I am making an appointment for the DMV for next week, so I'm going to go get it registered, and then I can finally drive the thing. Glove box, that was kind of an afterthought for the episode, but I'm glad I did it. Lessons learned. Retrofitting a tack, not as easy as you would think, but I think it's worthwhile because I get to stare at this awesome tack all the time now when I'm driving the car. Like I said earlier, painting the interior with real paint. You know, if you're doing like a rotisserie restoration, yeah, go ahead and do it because you've got the thing gutted anyway. But if you're gutting it just to paint with non-rattle can paint, it's not worth the time and effort. And I could have had this car back on the road months ago if I hadn't done that. So where are we and what are we doing next? Up next, I need a speedometer for the car. I'm going to do a digital GPS speedometer. So that's going to be coming up. I'll show you guys how that works and how to install it. And I mean, there's not much to it. You just have to wire it in. And then I also have my tire bomb stencil kit. So next episode will be tire bomb stencils and some other miscellaneous stuff just to keep the build moving. We'll hopefully be registering the car, assuming nothing goes wrong there. And yeah, hopefully some driving. I want to drive for a while. I'm kind of tired of working on it. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please throw me a like, subscribe to the channel. Got some driving stuff coming. We'll be able to, once this car is registered and I'm actually driving and it's running well, we'll be able to kind of park this project for a little while and dig into the wagon project, which has been waiting patiently in my driveway. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.